Hi everyone, my name's Mollie and I work for a company called Accenture. I'm a software engineering apprentice and I'm in the final year of my apprenticeship. For those of you who haven't heard of Accenture, I've got a brief description of what Accenture do. So Accenture solves clients' toughest challenges by providing unmatched services in strategy and consulting, interactive technology and operations. So what this means is other companies come to Accenture when they've got a problem that they aren't able to solve by themselves, and Accenture will most likely have the resources to be able to help them. This could be any company, small or large, and we'll actually work with some of the largest companies in the world. And the quick answer to that is 4 days in office a week and 1 day at university a week. Depending on the qualifications you have when you join the company, it can take you either 2 to 3 years or 3 to 4 years to complete your degree. That would be if you come in at GCSE level. Obviously you wouldn't have enough UCAS points to go straight in with the degree. If you've got your A levels, you will have enough UCAS points to go straight into your degree. So it'll just depend. And you also get kind of not assessed, but you get observed in a bootcamp scenario. So when you first join the company, you take part in a 6 to 8 week bootcamp, which is kind of like a crash course in all the skills you need to be able to work for Accenture. And we'll have different lecturers in the bootcamp that then kind of give their opinions on which level we should be doing, if we should start at level 3 or go straight on to level 4. And then for day to day, I can't really comment because every single apprentice I started with, although we started at the same time and have the same job titles, we don't have the same roles, we don't have the same responsibilities. Every apprentice does a different job. My job is helping to manage a service for a client, so I have a long-term role. I could probably stay in this role as long as I wanted, whereas other apprentices do like kind of short-term projects, or like 6 weeks, maybe creating a website for a client and then they move on to the next, and maybe they'll do a 6-month project doing something for a client. You have to be very adaptable because you might have to move around and do a lot of different things with Accenture. And the truth is, this is the first apprenticeship I was ever really aware of, especially in terms of being able to get a degree through an apprenticeship. My career counsellor at school never said the word apprenticeship to me. Whenever I thought about apprenticeships, I thought of plumbing or electrician or more like a tradesman, not like an office job. So obviously I never really looked into apprenticeships because I didn't want to be a plumber or an electrician. So my dad was actually the person who told me about Accenture STEAM. And he really encouraged me to go for it when I was only 16. So I applied for it, but not really knowing that much about it. Obviously I knew it was a great opportunity, but I wasn't aware of other opportunities. I didn't know what to compare it to. I didn't know if this is what I was wanting to do, but I went for it anyway. And I got more of a taste of the company through the application process, and I thought, wow, I really do want to work for this company. It seems great. Unfortunately I missed out on the opportunity, but I got some feedback from the application and got quite far in the application process. I think I got down to the final 20 and then about 15 people got offered the job. So I was very close, but the feedback was that I wasn't really confident in my IT, which was true because I had never taken IT as a subject because it wasn't made available to me. So I chose to go and do a full-time IT qualification, and by the time I had finished that, I think I was about 19. So I then went and applied for Accenture again and luckily got the position. So for the second time around, I actually applied for more than just Accenture, even though I knew Accenture was the one that I ultimately wanted. I applied for lots of similar schemes, especially because it allowed me to go through an application process start to finish and learn from the mistakes I made for other companies, and then really be the best I could be for Accenture's application process. So relating to finding out what my skills are, I wish I did a personality test earlier. I've done quite a few personality tests, but I think the best one that I've done is 16personalities.co.uk. So that allowed me to know my exact personality type. I didn't even know personality types were a thing, but now I know what mine is, and I know my strengths and weaknesses that are associated with it. And I would say that acknowledging your weaknesses is so important for you to be able to further develop. If you focus on your strengths, you're not really going to further develop as a person. Whereas if you focus on your weakness, you're going to then progress with that weakness and no longer allow it to be a weakness. And I think a lot of application processes actually ask that as a question in an interview now, and I think it comes across very positively if you can acknowledge your own weaknesses, because it shows that you want to get better at them. So you could then maybe say, I know that I'm bad at this, but I've been working on it and I've since progressed, and I'd love to further progress and eliminate that weakness completely. In terms of looking at apprenticeships, something I would have done sooner is research the IT sector. The North East is such a hotspot for IT and technology companies. There's endless opportunities in the North East. So I think if I was aware of these opportunities earlier, I would have skipped the year of A-levels that I did do and went straight for the IT qualification. So I think I would have had my qualification a year earlier and potentially worked for Accenture a year earlier than I have. But I actually think doing the year of A-levels helped me become who I am now. It's actually part of the reason that I am an apprentice ambassador, because if I was aware of the opportunities that I'm now living, I would have completely steered my path differently. So I want to express all the opportunities that are available out there to younger people so that they're fully informed to what they would like to do and what they would like to go into once they do leave school or education. So it's been a long time since I had to do any CV writing or any application processes, but from the top of my head I was just kind of hell-bent on sticking out from the crowd. So in terms of my CV, I wanted to stand out because I didn't want it to look the same as everyone else's. Obviously you can't do that much to make your CV look different, but I included my social media links on there because I knew Accenture were most likely going to do a background check on all my social medias. So I thought I'll just pop them on there so they're easily found, and I thought it probably tells them that I've got nothing to hide and that I come across a professional online, so I would represent them well. I put the little social media icons on my CV, so it was like a little pop of colour, maybe that would catch the person's eye who was reading it. Just little things like that I think to help make it stand out. I also included the fact that I could drive on my CV, which is obviously a massive bonus. It's not essential for a job, but it is a bonus if you're able to travel. I included on there other qualifications that I had got that weren't related to, like, obviously GCSE A-level. I had actually completed my door supervisor course because I wanted to go and work at festivals as an event steward, which I didn't get around to because I actually got this job instead, which is great, but I kind of missed the festivals. And then for applications, I wasn't actually very confident when I applied for Accenture the second time round. I applied for more than Accenture, so then I was able to see out an application process start to finish before I applied for Accenture again. And then I got lots of feedback, so then I could learn from the mistakes I had made for that company's application and then be the best that I could be for Accenture's application. And I think kind of faking the confidence with Accenture the second time round really paid off. I wasn't necessarily confident. I thought this is a really competitive position because it's a degree apprenticeship, but I just thought I'm not going to doubt myself because it's not my place to doubt myself. The interviewer will decide if I'm suited for this role, not me. Part of Accenture's application process was a video interview, which I absolutely hated. I think in a usual environment where I would actually have the interviewer there asking the questions, you'd engage a lot from their body language. They might be smiling and nodding along, which obviously will indicate you're doing a good job. But with a video interview, our video interview, the only thing I could see was myself answering the questions, which really made me cringe. I remember the day of the interview, I actually submitted it on the day of the deadline because I had put it off for so long because I was so nervous about doing it. So I actually did it at 10:30 at night after a 12-hour retail shift because I worked in retail at the time. And then I just thought I need to get something submitted. If I don't submit anything, like, I'll never know, so I want to submit something even if it's not the best that I would be able to do. So we had 2 chances to answer the question, but I submitted my first try on every question and I didn't even watch it back because I felt too awkward watching myself. But whatever I did say, I don't even remember what I said, but whatever I did say, I got through to the next application step, so must have done okay. For my current strengths and skills, I think it's important to mention that a company won't expect you to already have the strengths and skills you need to do the job that you're applying for. If it is an apprenticeship, you're going to learn how to do the job in the job. So a lot of the skills that I have actually been accumulated over the time that I've been with Accenture. Some of them from the 6 to 8 week bootcamp, some of them from the roles that I've had since leaving the bootcamp. And then obviously some skills and strengths I already had before joining Accenture, but I've been able to further develop them with Accenture. So for example, communication I've definitely gotten better at. I have to communicate with colleagues that are based in India pretty much on the daily, so I need to make sure that they're understanding me and I'm understanding them, especially with the language barrier of English not being their first language. And I also need to communicate with different users of our service. So if a user experiences any issue or any bug or anything like that with our service, it gets reported to me, and then I'll then investigate the issue that they're experiencing and look into resolving it. So sometimes that'll require like further information. I might need to contact the user and ask them a few more details. This could be via email or via phone call, so my communication over email and phone call has definitely gotten better. I would have never dreamt of speaking to someone over the phone the way that I do now. I used to be very, very shy. I think another strength related to my role is that I pick things up quite quickly. I want to be able to do my role to the best of my ability, so anything new that's related to my service, I want to know it like the back of my hand so that I can help users if they then do experience an issue with the new services or the new features. Yeah, so it just provides quicker resolution. It makes my life easier and my job more enjoyable.